Chances are, unless you've been living in Narnia or Middle Earth for the past few years, and if you have, we are so sorry to offend you, Frodo, you've heard of or participated in fantasy sports. The Fantasy Sports Trade Association estimates that over 35 million adults play some type of fantasy sport every year. This is an industry that has experienced 60% growth in just 4 years. The percent growth in daily fantasy sports competitions almost triples that. And while football may be the most popular, as it should be, basketball, baseball, hockey, golf, and NASCAR aren't far behind. The fantasy sports boom really got its start with the UIGEA Act, or the Unlawful Internet Gambling Enforcement Act of 2006. This piece of legislation prohibits gambling businesses from knowingly accepting payments in connection with the participation of another person in a bet or wager that involves the use of the internet and that is unlawful under any federal or state law. Whew! In other words, the government took online gambling and said,
"Not up in here! Not up in here!"
But here's the catch. The act specifically excludes fantasy sports from this ban. Why? Simple. While other poker was determined to be a contest of chance, fantasy sports, because of the hours of research and lineup altering, were labeled contests of skill, and therefore immune to the same restrictions and regulations that the government placed against online poker websites. The online poker websites had no choice but to call it quits. However, many of these developers tried to make the obvious transition into fantasy sports wagering websites. It's these ex-card sharks who have created the most popular fantasy wagering sites that are in use today. Here's the problem with that. While I probably think twice before I sit next to these dudes in a round of Texas Hold'em, I'm going to go ahead and call their bluff on their knowledge and passion for fantasy sports. In other words, they don't know what they're doing, and it shows in their rushed, poorly constructed websites and contest offerings. So this is where we come in. After a year of research, planning, and development, we are so excited to offer the most innovative take on online fantasy sports wagering that exists today.
SquadBattle.com.
As avid fantasy sports competitors, we realized that we could take everything we like about current fantasy sites, take away everything we didn't like, and add on every single thing we ever wished they had. In other words, we created our fantasy sports site. At SquadBattle.com, our priority is to make fantasy sports fun, easy, and above all, social. We had all done fantasy leagues in college and were used to being able to trash talk each other daily. Unfortunately, when we left college and wanted to continue these leagues, it became harder and harder to have the social interactions that go hand in hand with fantasy sports. Because of this, we stressed the importance of social interaction and created an open platform for competing in a secure environment where trash talk is encouraged and winners get paid every time. Our emphasis in development was to provide a social atmosphere that promotes competition and rewards the winners. Unlike any other competitor sites, we offer friend lists, private chats, and specialize in continuous social interaction amongst friends and other users. So now you don't even have to wait till the next time you see your friend to give him hell for his Tebow pickup. You can make fun of him in real time. Similar to Facebook, every user has his own customizable public profile page that lists all of their leagues, contests, and achievements for easy navigation of all of your contests, as well as a hub for sending and receiving contest invitations from your friends. Not only does Squad Battle offer daily and weekly tournaments for everyone looking to pick up a quick buck, unlike our competitors, we offer season-long traditional leagues, the most common and the most interactive fantasy sports structure. Tired of spending hours researching players and sweating blood for 16 weeks to make it out as El Champion and have no one end up paying you? Put down the bat, bro. Squad Battle solves that problem with league entrance fees and immediate cash payouts via PayPal. Our player research page gives users the ability to access a wide range of current and past game data, a vital aspect for any true competitor. This is possible due to our contract terms with the industry leader in sports statistics, Stats LLC. We have partnered with them to supply our live sports data feeds for the next 2 years, providing uninterrupted service and the fastest delivery time possible. And the most badass and awesome part about Squad Battle is Team Battle, a fantasy competition structure that is yet to be explored by any other fantasy site in existence. While all other sites are strictly individual matchups, Team Battle allows you to create a team with your friends and compete against other teams on Squad Battle. This, of course, is another way to maximize user interaction and the social setting. And we went ahead and patented this idea while we were at it. We found that planning our marketing strategy was relatively easy because essentially we're our own target market. In every step of the planning period, we reverted back to the same question. Would I want to join this? And the collective answer has continuously been the same.
Hell yes.
We came up with a collection of marketing materials that effectively describe our services and get the point across that will allow our site to stand out from the rest. We're hitting our target market hard right from the beginning by putting together a college rep program, which is spreading the Squad Battle word to college campuses across the country. By teaming up with various sports bars and creating interactive events in college towns, we'll be marketing Squad Battle as not only a website, but a social hub for sports lovers and gamers alike. Our PAO and referral programs give players money for every new player they refer, so essentially we're letting users be their own salespeople. The more people you refer, the more cash you get, and the more profit we make. We call that win-win, amigos. Speaking of winning, let's get down to the gritty green details. We're seriously excited about this site. We've put in hundreds of hours of work in creating our ultimate fantasy site, and this fantasy is quickly turning into a reality. And what we're just as excited about is making money. And we hope you are too. The FSTA estimates that there are over 30 million users generating over $5 billion annually in fantasy sports wagering. This is a huge industry with a ton of room for growth. Our first step in realistically evaluating this company was to identify our costs and project possible revenue scenarios. In order to get our revenue projections, we had to first set up 5 scenarios that varied based on average users per month, average contests per month per user, and average dollar amount per entry per contest. After running the various scenarios over 5 years, accounting for the changes in participation throughout the different sports seasons, we selected the middle scenario that was realistic but still very conservative. To put this in perspective, we're estimating that we will reach 10,000 users by the end of our 3rd year in service. One of our competitors, who only offers daily fantasy sports games and doesn't come close to meeting the extent of our different features, saw their site traffic grow to 10,000 users within their first 10 months of operation. If we replicated that type of growth, we would see over 3 times the revenue that we projected in our estimates that still gave us a 400% plus return over 5 years. Check out our projected monthly revenue. We've adjusted it for popularity of the sport going on at any given time throughout the year. According to this revenue projection and our known costs, we estimate that our break-even point when revenues are greater than costs is in month 5 or June of 2013. Our goal with Squad Battle is to keep costs low and risks even lower. We've already raised over $100,000, which has gone to website development, marketing materials, business formation, legal costs, and so on. Our goal is to raise $200,000 to cover the costs that will be faced in the first year of operating and to ensure room in our budget to accommodate for the huge amount of growth in our future. The potential of this venture is enormous. Not only is this an incredibly large industry, but it is also one of the fastest growing over the past 5 years. We have maintained such low operating costs that in order for our investors to double their investment, we need to capture 1/10,000th of the market. And in our eyes, if we only gain that small percentage of the industry, something must have gone terribly wrong. There's no ceiling to this potential, and we see no reason why we shouldn't be the overall leader in the fantasy sports industry. If there's one thing we hope you take away from this, it's that you realize the potential of the fantasy sports industry and recognize the potential of SquadBattle.com. We're creating something big here, and we want you to be a part of it. Fantasy sports done right. Thanks for your time.